morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Now, we are looking at a drive that is incredibly light, which is some good news because there should not be any travel really unless it's essential. So right now, we are watching a problem, a very minor one, and it's because we aren't looking at any major traffic through this area. Northbound Weston approaching the 401, we have, it looks like just a shoulder here blocked off because of a collision. We do have a tow truck on the scene, again, not slowing anything down whatsoever. This is a look at the 401 moving through Weston right now. You can see things are moving at the limit. That could actually be said for the 401 across the GTA, both in the express and collector lanes. Southbound 404 DVP combo moving well, approaching Newmarket through Markham, through Richmond Hill, and onto towards the downtown core. To the left of your screen, that is the southbound DVP, and again, it is moving at the limit. Bank securely from anywhere, anytime with CIBC, whether it's paying bills, depositing checks, or transferring money in Canada and around the world. With CIBC, you can do it all 24/7. That is a look at what we have going on for your roads, and now I'll send things over to Frankie for a look at the forecast.
Hey, good morning. Thanks, Steph. I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Some beautiful Colangelo in front of us there. Through the afternoon, it's going to be a perfect afternoon to open up the windows, get some fresh air, listen to the birds. We're seeing robins right now all over the place. Indication is spring. Let's take a look what we have across the city of Toronto as we look high from above the skies from the CN Tower over towards the east. Seeing a little bit of a nice sunrise out there this morning, and with that, we're going to get into some clearing skies. Here's a look at your future forecast showing you in through the afternoon we're going to be fine. Here's a look at the early morning hours of Saturday. By the time we get into 12:30 Saturday morning, Windsor rolls into some rain at that time. We'll get into some wet weather mid-morning, early afternoon on Saturday. That's going to continue on and off all the way through into Sunday. So take in the sunshine while you can for today, because this weekend looks a little bit overcast, a little bit damp, and it's going to be a very windy Sunday overall. Right now, current conditions 2 degrees in the city of Toronto. We have -1 over to Ottawa, 0 in Quebec City. We have temperatures of 2 to my friends in Windsor. Chicago today, waking up to 3. Hey, daytime highs today going to be about 11. That's above seasonal for this time of year. We're going to stay just above the freezing mark through the overnight. Tomorrow, 9, once again, getting into that wet weather. And then for your Sunday, it's going to be damp and windy. Wind gusts on Sunday up to 70 kilometers per hour. Have a fantastic Friday. Going to send it off to your Wards Your News right now with Mel.
Thank you, Frank. And we are following breaking news from the UK, where British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he has tested positive for COVID-19. So he just confirmed this on Twitter. He said he has been experiencing mild symptoms, so he decided to get tested. That test returning back positive. He is now in self-isolation inside number 10 Downing Street. Now, he says he will still lead his country's charge against the fight against COVID-19 from behind closed doors. So we'll just turn around that clip for you in a little bit. But again, breaking news that the British PM has tested positive for COVID-19. We'll bring you more in just a few minutes' time. Time now is 7:31, and there are so many angles when we talk about COVID-19. Of course, we're talking health concerns, but a big one that a lot of people are concerned about is the economic concerns, especially if you're an independent business owner. These are definitely some troubling times. Small businesses, especially non-essential ones, are being severely impacted. So how can you weather this storm? Joining us now via Skype is Dan Kelly, the president of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Good morning to you, Dan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Numbers are not great. So just looking as of last weekend, and a lot has changed on a daily, but as of last weekend, 55% were partially or fully shut down. And of course, that number has significantly skyrocketed. What is the overall feel right now for small businesses?
It is pretty brutal. A lot of small businesses, as you just said, are shut down partially, even more shut down 100%. And of course, the obligations of those businesses are still pretty significant. They're still expected, of course, to pay their wages to their employees. Many of them are having to turn to layoffs because their business income is essentially zero. And business owners are trying to sort out what can they do to try to protect and keep the health of their employees, what they can do to keep their employees paid, and how do they ensure that the future of the business is intact so that after the emergency phase is over, they'll still have something to come back to. Often it's their life's dream to set up this business that is very much in risk of being taken away. A third of our members said that they are not sure if they will be able to open their doors again ever at the end of this if it goes on for more than a month. And you know what? It's dragging on, and there's lots of signs that just might happen.
That's it, and that's the thing. There is no necessarily an end in sight, or at least in the short term. Let's talk about two-prong. One, those who are still able to stay open, are there recommendations on what can be done to alter the business or change services in order to keep afloat?
Sure, many businesses are already doing that. I know we've all seen that in local restaurants with the dining room being shut down and more of them opening up to home delivery. Thank goodness we have companies that are doing door-to-door delivery like Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes. They have been a godsend to many businesses to at least keep a trickle of income into the business. Even some retailers, we had about a quarter of our members that were retailers that did not have any kind of online sales that are rushing to try to create a website. And one of the things I would encourage all of your viewers to do is call their local businesses, those that might still be open, to see if in fact they are open and if there is a way for them to get home delivery or perhaps pickup without having to come into the store. But the vast majority of retailers certainly are closed. Service sector businesses are closed. So we're only talking about a few handfuls of businesses that are even allowed to be open right now, and that's taking a deep, deep toll.
It really is. Let's talk about those who are closed. People are struggling right now to buy groceries or pay for rent. We're looking at some graphics right now, looking at some of the numbers. So on average, already costing affected businesses, what, $136,000 and counting. That is being modest. But what's interesting here is there's still a little bit of confusion when it comes to the EI guidelines and then the federal government releasing this benefit fund. But they're going to get taxed on top of that, too. So is that enough?
It really isn't. Look, to be fair, everybody's working really hard, including our political leaders, and I don't take anything away from them. There have been good supports put in place, I think, for some that have lost their job altogether, either the employment insurance system or this new Canada Emergency Response benefit of $2,000 a month, albeit a small benefit. That, we're pleased, at least includes the self-employed, so business owners themselves who have no income can collect this. I spoke to one business owner who has $15 left after paying her employees. So small businesses are really, really hurting right now. Of course, the group that I'm more concerned about, the most concerned about right now, are those businesses that still have their employees, have not yet terminated them or put them on EI, and are struggling to hang on. Some of them are paying them out of their own pocket to try to keep those employees afloat, and that's the group I feel that needs the most support. It's why we're lobbying the government to create a substantive wage subsidy for employers to be able to retain their workers at least a few more weeks.
Dan, I want to be able to put up a website for you, or at least can you provide us with one where people can go to for more information if they are affected personally here?
Yeah, for small business owners, we've set up a special website, cfib.ca/COVID-19. We put all the resources, all the programs that have been announced to support businesses are there.
Okay, appreciate your time today. Thank you, Dan.
Anytime.